Some of the Premier League's leading lights have played non-league football earlier in their careers. But how would a squad made up entirely of National League players performed if we placed them in the Premier League? Could they earn a point? Would they win a game? Might they beat the drop? Well, I guess there's only one way to find out. As a fan of non-league football, I've often wondered just how big the gulf is between the elite level and those that ply their trade in the National League. So I decided to put together a squad made up of the greatest talents in English non-league football and place them in the Premier League to see just how many points they could win. Now I'm realistic, I know the chances of us finishing anywhere other than bottom are almost non-existent, but that's not the only goal of this challenge. Because in 2007-2008, Derby County finished bottom of the Premier League with just 11 points, a record low total that still stands today. So our challenge is to try and guide a team of non-league players through a Premier League season and avoid the title of becoming the Premier League's worst ever club. So I loaded up a game of FM22 and looked through every single player in the National League and put together a squad that I thought was the best talent available. At the back, we'll have players like Yeovil's 6'6" centre-half Max Hunt, and alongside him, we'll have 6'7" Omar Sawamni from Bromley. We'll have midfield schemers such as Stockport's Anthony Sarcevic, as well as a little continental flair in the form of Notts County's Ruben Rodriguez. But our talisman will be 6'9" target forward Kyle Hoodlin of Solihull Moors, who in real life has secured a move to Championship side Huddersfield. In total, we've put together a 28-man squad drawn from across the National League to try and compete at a Premier League level. But if we're to have any hope at all, we're going to need a tactic that borders on perfection. Fortunately, I know just the man. Evening, Stinger. Yeah, I need you to design me a tactic for a team of non-league players to help them compete in the Premier League.
Don't be ridiculous. No one can design that tactic.
Come on, you must have something in that back catalogue of yours.
Hold on. I might have something that can work, but it's pretty unorthodox.
But I wanted to test this tactic out as well as make sure that I had indeed drafted the best players available to me. So I decided to place our squad back in their natural habitat in the National League and play through a season to see whether Stinger's tactic and my player selections were as good as we hoped. And the early signs were good as we beat Woking 8-0 in one of our first games. And by the end of the season, we'd won 40 matches, amassing 122 points and scoring 138 goals. But competing in the Premier League would be an altogether different challenge, as pre-season odds of 2,000 to 1 illustrated. And the fixture list had an ominous look about it as we prepared for our season opener away to Leeds. Before we play that game, pause the video and leave a comment down below predicting how many points you think we'll get this season, and crucially, do you think we'll be able to beat the 11-point total Derby set in 2007-2008 and avoid the title of becoming the worst Premier League team in history? And so to that season opener as we travel to Yorkshire to take on a Leeds United side on a warm sunny afternoon. The early signs were concerning as we needed some unconventional goalkeeping from George Wickens to stop us falling behind. But on 23 minutes, the unthinkable happened. Liam Cooper and Calvin Phillips got themselves into a mess trying to play out from the back. Hoodlin managed to win the ball, and Wrexham's Thomas O'Connor raced onto it and blasted the ball past Meslier. The away fans couldn't believe what they were watching, and for a moment they dreamed of European qualification. And those dreams lasted for 4 minutes. As our own mistakes at the back allowed Jack Harrison to equalise, and the same player scored again after 33 minutes. And from there the afternoon got worse. Click converted a penalty, and Rodrigo added 2 more. And at the full-time whistle we'd been thrashed 5-1. But it's not all doom and gloom, because we didn't have to wait that long to pick up our first Premier League points. And it came at home to Brentford, where Thomas O'Connor again rushed through from midfield and blasted past the keeper. But once more we were unable to keep a clean sheet as Visser blasted home from close range to leave the game tied at 1-1. But that Brentford game led to a little mini run of good form where we picked up draws against Newcastle and Spurs, as well as progressing past Luton in the League Cup. and we even sat proudly outside the relegation places. But draws would not be enough for us this season. We came here to try and win a game, but how long would it take us? The answer is quite some time, as we lost to Watford, Manchester City, Southampton, Burnley and Arsenal, only picking up 2 more points with draws against Brighton and Aston Villa. But there was hope. Our strike force of Hoodlin and Shamanga were performing well, and we were scoring regularly against Premier League defences. And then, on Saturday the 27th of November, it happened. We travelled to Merseyside on a wintry afternoon to take on Everton. On 32 minutes, Kyle Hoodlin silenced the home fans as he slotted the ball past Jordan Pickford. But Everton responded, drawing level through Alex Iwobi, and they were ahead at the break when Dominic Calvert-Lewin rounded George Wickens to score. A lot of soul-searching was done at half-time, and we emerged from the interval with a renewed resolve. First, Big Kyle sat Pickford down for the second time in the game, and then our moment arrived. Lewis Kinsella had been rampaging forward from left-back all afternoon to no avail, but on 82 minutes he got forward again. Luke Dreyer spotted his run and played a pass that dissected the Everton defence. Time stood still as the footballing public held its collective breath. Could the non-league side finally win a match? The mood in the camp was rightfully jubilant, but the going was tough and more defeats followed, with the only highlight being a 3-2 win away at Crystal Palace. But this wasn't enough to prevent us being bottom of the table on Christmas Day, having won just 2 games during the first half of the season. But we'd already equalled Derby's points tally from the 07-08 season, and we still had half a season to play. Could we survive? Well, the answer is no. Not quite, and admittedly we have got relegated and come bottom of the table, but we did come close. With 2 games of the season remaining, we welcomed Watford to the Vanarama Arena, needing a win to avoid the drop. Unfortunately, rather than maximum points, we lost 6-2, and we followed that up by losing 4-0 to Spurs on the final day. But there were some truly great moments during the second half of the season. We won games against Aston Villa and Crystal Palace, where we completed the double over the Eagles. And just when a 5-game losing streak looked like we were sinking without a trace, we produced our best spell of the season, drawing 3-3 with Burnley, 1-1 at the Emirates against Arsenal, following this up with a Kyle Hoodlin-inspired victory over Newcastle in front of our own fans, before a 2-2 draw against Brentford. Ultimately, this was a season where a squad of non-league players showed that there is incredible talent outside of the Football League, and Stinger designed a tactic that performed miracles.
As if it was ever in doubt.
And one that he'll shortly be releasing a video on. But maybe you'd like your own go at this challenge to see how you could perform, and I'm going to make this save file available. You'll find links to the Manager's Seat Discord channel in the video description below, and from there you can download the file to see whether you can keep National League FC in the Premier League. But I'll let you in on a little secret. One of the roles Stingers used in this tactic was an Ngonch, a player role he looks at in more detail in this video here.